Well done, people. Sorry about that.
Really
That's
sorry about
twice.
that.
Let me just lift this
What
up.
a horror fatal mistake.
Oh, let me just lift it up a little tiny bit.
Is it actually streaming?
Yeah, we live.
Oh. Hello? Hi? Hold on. I'm just trying to see myself, but I won't. Okay. Hello everyone. It's me, Kasia Avery. Lovely to see you here. Oh,
I'm just lifting you up.
the man is playing with the camera. Done? Okay, no more wobbles. Thank you very much for joining. I see there's lots of you here, and some will probably join in as well later on. If you have to switch me off at some point, don't worry, because the recording of this will be available under the same link. So, whatever works for you. But thank you very much for coming here today. I see there's plenty of Wanderlust adventurers. We just had like a private Wanderlust 23 live stream, so I told them I'll be streaming. That's why there's so many of them here. So thank you very much for sticking with me. Hi Zdenka. That's really cool. But lots of new faces as well, so that's really lovely. I don't know how well you know me. I am Kasia, so if my name sounds a bit weird, this is because I was born in Poland, but now I live in the UK, in England, with my husband Jamie, and me and Jamie, we are the owners, the founders of Everything Art, where we do online courses, and our most important course is called Wanderlust. That's our year-long course in mixed media or journaling. That's a long sentence, that was. And I have written a book recently, not so recently, quite a few months ago, but now this is it, the time has come, and on the 8th of August in the US, and on the 10th of August for the rest of the world, the book is going to be actually released. It's on pre-sale now, and I know many of you pre-ordered, and I really thank you for that, because actually, as it turns out, it's really important for book positioning. I never knew that, but I've learned that from the publisher, that a high number of pre-sales, pre-orders helps the book to be positioned quite high on all those websites like Amazon, Book Depository, Barnes and Noble. And so it gets the highest chance of reaching a lot of people, which is what I want, because I've written this book for you, not for myself. I don't treat it as my legacy. This is a tool, okay? It's a tool. I want this to get dirty with paint. I want this to be read through many times and used to help you find your creativity, help you nourish it, help you find your voice, help you find your passion, and whatever it is that ignites that fire that you've got within you. And it's gotta be ignited. Okay. Oh, then can your health check? Dobry wieczór. Yes. Christine from Louisiana. Oh, lovely. Dewood, Maryland. Brilliant. People from all over the world, the Netherlands, France. Oh, Germany. Oh, nice. Thank you so much. It's a weird hour, or isn't it? No, it's probably not a weird hour. It's a good hour. All of my kids are asleep. I'm still awake. And it's a human hour for most of us. What time will it be in Australia, though? Because there's no Australians here. Exactly. Okay, let's talk about the book, because that's what we're here for. Now, this is an actual book. The book is still being printed, and we are very excited to order it for our shop. We have a little art materials and a little workshop in Worksmith in England, and we will obviously be also selling the book. And now we will be doing a book signing situation on the 12th of August. So if you can travel, then please travel, and if you can't, then we will be streaming this to YouTube as well. I think a little bit of it, just so you can feel like you're there. But I would love to sign your book, or I don't know, just have a chat, right? Because maybe you don't necessarily want me scribbling in your book. But anyway, yeah, signing a book. What a weird thing to do. Anyway, I actually I'm very lucky to have an actual copy of the book, you know, that's still being printed. So I received it actually quite a while ago, but there were just so many things happening, and also we had no internet for quite a while. It was a blessing also in some ways, but also made things difficult and meant we had to reschedule this live. So sorry if you were waiting last week and the week before, because it just wasn't possible. No internet. So I've had this for a while, and the feeling, you know, when I opened the parcel was just amazing to see it, because obviously I saw the, you know, the PDF versions that we're working on with Quarto, and that already felt amazing. It all felt amazing, and I feel very grateful for the whole process, and being able to do it is such a big, massive privilege. And the people that I worked with were so supportive and so loving, really, that's the word, I think, that it made it really, really beautiful process. So if you ever get that chance, or if you have a book idea and you want to pitch it to Quarto, because these people are awesome. So having this book in my hands felt great. So I thought maybe I'll show you inside so you can see what's it about. Okay, I can talk to you a little bit about the chapters and the process behind creating the book if you're interested. If you have any questions, ideally related to the book, but all questions are welcome. I may not answer all of them. Then just go, you know, into the chat. I show, like, it's there. It's just where my screen is. Just ask in the chat window, and I will be going through comments and going through comments again and again, and I will be answering them like crazy. Okay. Adriana is one of the adventurers from Wanderlust 20 to 23. 23. Let's not and 22? Yeah, confusing me, yeah? Okay. Okay, so I will have to take this camera away and put it into a different device, this device here. Sorry, just close your eyes if you get sick sometimes, if things start moving quickly. Okay, because I have to do it. The best way to do it. Very unprofessional, but it really is the best solution for us right now. I managed to squeeze it in. Excellent. Sorry if you feel sick. Oh, upside down. Oh, great. Maybe I will just turn this. Huh. Ta-da! Not too bad. Okay, Creative Wanderlust, there you go. Whew, I did it! That was the most stressful bit. Oh, Wendy. We were prima creative team buds way back then. So thrilled you are now, and also to brilliant and well deserved day old. Oh yes, Wendy! I just recognized your picture. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so great to see you here. Oh, we need to catch up. Yes. Oh, thank you for coming here. Oh man, prima marketing creative team. That was ages ago. That was a great experience, and a massive springboard to me personally. Okay, Adriana, I sent out a few signed copies randomly, one for me, of course. Right now we can't ship to other countries besides UK. The tax situation from our shop in Works with I'm just going to quickly tell you, it's just the tax situation is so overwhelmingly complicated that for us and our small team to manage that is just simply not possible. We would have to employ a person who would do just that, and at that moment we're not able to. So that's a big, disappointment. Oh, look at that hand. Same hand now. So this is the book. I have written it. That's right, I did it. The book is based on obstacles. Oh, I was praying that I accidentally don't say testicles, but I say obstacles. Sorry. I dedicated the book to my daughters Zosha and Ella stay wild girls, because my kids are my biggest inspiration, honestly, when it comes to joyful art, you know, self-expression. Kids are an incredible source, so maybe I could lower this so you could see a bit better. No, not like that. Okay, maybe like this. There we go. Look at me, all this tech knowledge. Okay, so this is the table of contents, and the like I said, book is based on obstacles that we often experience. Sorry if it's shaking, I'm gonna calm it down. Obstacles that we often stumble upon when we try and develop our art practice, or even if we are experienced artists. You know, sometimes we get into some sort of a block or lack of motivation. So every project that I do in the book, because obviously that's a quarter book, right? So there can't only be stories, there are projects. It's a mixed media project book. So every project is connected to a story that is connected to an obstacle. Okay? But before I move on to that, first we get the party cracking. Get the party cracking. Oh no, sorry, that's an introduction. Yeah, so first we did the introduction, where I write a little bit, you know, about how I would like you to approach this book. And there isn't much pressure from me, don't worry, but you know, I'm just really happy for everyone who gets this book in their hands and decides to do something about their creativity and, you know, gives themselves space to express. So that's what this is all about. Then I address the very, very sensitive question here. Is this really art? Is what we do, you know, is it worthy of being called art? Isn't art just, you know, Van Gogh and Da Vinci, that's artists, right? We often kind of question if we can call ourselves artists because what we do maybe is not good enough, or I don't know. So I talk about it, and we write a little permission. Actually, it was a bigger picture, but it got cut off because the book has to end here. Yeah, we write a little permission, big permission, and then I explain what is our journaling to those of you who don't know. So this is, you know, digestible to everyone, not just to all of you watching right now, knowing everything about it. And then I show examples of our journal pages, because a big thing in this book is that, you know, it's my book, obviously, so it's all my projects, my style. But as on Wanderlust, there are different styles, all sorts of different approaches, ways, techniques. And like every year we have, you know, over 30 teachers usually, and each one of them is working in a different style, and it just shows that there's no right or wrong or in our journaling, and there is space for every style and for every approach, for every taste. And that's why I decided to include artwork from our Wanderlust teachers throughout the book. So you don't just see my stuff, because that doesn't necessarily have to appeal to you always, right? You see other people's stuff. You can get inspired by that and give you this confidence. Hopefully will give you this confidence that to understand that yes, you can do it a completely different way, and that's fine. And I am just so pumped about this. That's something I'm really proud of, that all of these people that, you know, the teachers that I've included here, when I asked them if they'd like to please send me their artwork to be included in the book, they just like jumped up straight away. Yes, absolutely. And they were just so supportive and so happy for me, and so loving, that I just feel really blessed to be able to work with all of these people who are just so awesome. That's the word. Camila Garcia, Marta Łapkowska, Claudette Hazen, Jaga, and Fineva. And there is more. Carol, words are out of focus. Are you able to adjust? I don't think I'm able to adjust that on a live stream, sorry. But you don't need to read. I'll read you. Don't worry about it. Just look at the pictures. Okay. And there is more examples from Nicole Warrington, Helen Colbrook, Diane Reevely. and then we get the party cracking. Okay, so we get the party cracking by choosing our art journal, and I give a few tips on how I like to work, and we even make our step-by-step. Yes, sorry, I'm just checking the comments if there's no big complaints, which I can't address. Um, because this, will be an ideal way to start for many people. But I also mentioned that it's fine if you just want to work in a ready-made book, because the most important thing is to get some art done. And throughout the book, I also ask Wanderlust teachers some random questions about their art practice and how they like to work. So what is your favorite kind of book to art journal in? And Julie Valentine answers here, but it's blurred, so you're gonna have to get the book to see the answer. Then we create a supply kit, and I talk a lot about, how limiting your supplies is really important. Oh, I just hear Ella woke up. Oh dear. Hopefully Jamie can manage. And then I've created a art supply love matcher, which for me should be a bit more extensive, but obviously we were limited on space in a book, so there's only so much I could include. But basically I'm explaining about the most important families of supplies, simplifying it as much as I can, so everyone, even if you have zero product knowledge, you can straight away understand what you should be using with what, because mixed media can get overwhelming, I think, Then I talk about paper and how to make every paper work, how important gesso is, what tools you should be using, and then I talk about colors, because I think, I advertise intuitive art practice. So the art practice where you let go of the final result, you don't plan anything, you just try and be in the moment and be present. But I believe that if we plan these two things, if we know our supplies and if we plan our color palette or understand how colors work, then it can give us a big boost of confidence, and it's easier then to really immerse yourself in that intuitive process. So that's why there is a chapter about using a color wheel for everyone, for those who are just beginners, and also some ideas for those who want to spice up their color palettes and have some fun. And I explain about complementary colors, because we often call it, make and mod, while I think this is an opportunity to create some beautiful grays and browns, so we're embracing it all. And then there's a little chapter about composition building, because that's, colors, supplies, and composition. I think it's good to know something about it before you start working. So once again, I try not to overcomplicate it, and simplify it, talk a little bit about a focal point, what is a focal point, how to make it pop, how to compose your artwork, give a few tips here so you can really enjoy the process rather than worry that maybe it's not right. And then mindset is king. That's the next big chapter. That's what I've written here. You're probably quite eager to jump in and start our journaling. Excellent. I want you to hold on to that feeling and take a few deep breaths. There is one more thing we need to do before you start filling your art journal. It's the most crucial part, which will fuel your process in the most wonderful ways. Let's talk about mindset. What you'll read in this chapter will affect the way you use your creativity forever, I hope. I would love for you to come back to this chapter often to remind yourself how important it is to approach your art process in a kind, open-hearted and wholesome way. So yes, I do hope that you will be coming back to these bits here, because they are good for everyone at every stage of their journey. How to work with the prompts, because every project in this book is based on a prompt. For instance, before you start working on a project, read the prompt and give yourself 5 minutes to freely write down your answer. Or, because the prompts are a little bit about self-development, self-care, or you could give yourself a little space to meditate on the subject of the prompt before you start painting. Or you could ponder the prompt while you're in the process of following the tutorial, or add the answer to your page at the end of the process. So once again, there's no right or wrong. There are different ways to approach it. And I give some tips, you know, on how you should be feeling about your art while you do it. You know, that non-judgmental approach is really, really quite important. And then this bit is, why is being bad at something a good thing? Your expectations will make or break the art journaling experience. So, you know, this is a big one for me, because my expectations used to be really high. My expectations towards my work and, you know, how it looks in the end. And so I believe that that mindset with which we're starting, allowing ourselves to make mistakes, to be students, to, you know, make that ugly art and not worry about it. I think that's really crucial, and it will enhance every learning experience, whether that's learning about chemistry, like I share in this little story here, or learning about art, or your art style, or your, you know, unique voice. It just applies to everything. And this part is about creative rituals and habit stacking superpowers, because I think that's a superpower, to be able to create a good habit stack. I mean, some of you will find it unnecessary because you probably already have a great art routine and you don't need any help with that. But others will kind of jump in and then drop out and get back to it. And if you feel like you would like to have a regular art routine, which I always feel is really good, because it can, you know, be very quick way to learn a lot about ourselves, and it doesn't have to be daily, but regular in some way, that it, you know, just making sure that it plays a big part in your life. So if you like that, then, and you like help with that, then this chapter is all about creative habit stacks. And I explain what habit stacks are, and oh, I just said a very nasty word. Okay, accidentally. Are. And there's a little bit about creative rituals, so, you know, how we can make our art practice a little bit more wholesome, a little bit more inspirational. All of these things, all of this, that's one of my favorite ones. And I have to admit that my editor said that this was a really, really good chapter, a fresh one. In the books that they don't usually tackle this subject in creative books. So I was really pumped to hear that, that I managed to do something slightly different. Wendy says you have packed so much in the few pages you've already shown us. I love books like this. I was doing my best, you know. I had a lot of a very long file that I've ended up with, but the manuscript had to be, you know, half the size of that, so I was packing it. It had to be intense. And then we make the first mark, because this is jumping over the first obstacle that we sometimes experience, whatever the level of your experience, whether you're just starting out and you don't literally know how to start, or you've done some art but you feel kind of stuck, or maybe it's the blank page that's kind of stressing you out. So this is all about making the first mark, and I give several ideas, and I hope they will be really helpful, and especially one of them I really like. But you'll get to, you know, you'll get to read about all of that. We have a lot to go through, people. I have to speed it up. And I have this do's and don'ts for the whole art journaling practice, if you want to do it my way, obviously. Did I mention that there's no right or wrong? Yeah. Okay, so do work on random pages without any order. Do accept every mark for what it is and move on to the next one. Yeah, if you don't like something, just move on to the next thing, right? Do set a time limit if you wish, because it can kind of help you let go of that overthinking, right? You don't need to, if you know you have a limited time, you stop planning and expecting, you just do. So that can be a good tip. Don't use treasures. Look for papers and supplies that don't hold much value, because if we use treasures, then we're very precious about those pages and we feel constrained again. Don't spend too much time on each step. Move on to the next one, right? Don't worry about what you're going to do with it later. It's irrelevant. We're in the moment, and don't overthink it. Okay, so that's Arlene says, wouldn't you all love to get into that pile that landed on the edit room floor? I'm not sure we would, because these people who edit books and all that copy editing, they do a really good job. And I think that they can do magic condensing the message and the essence that's actually important to the reader into fewer words. So yeah, I don't think we would, Arlene. And then the third part is fill your journal now. So I'm going to read this, okay? Everything suddenly seems a little more sparkly around you. Well, it's perfectly understandable, because what you're about to enter is a chapter of magic. Oh man, I really hope it's magic for you. I've prepared plenty of projects for you, but they aren't just plain tutorials. Each project ties in with a different subject, an obstacle that may be keeping your inner artist suppressed. All the subjects are inspired by conversations I've had with my students from all over the world, from the lovely in-person class participants in rural France to my online course adventures. By the time you finish going through this book with me, you'll be holding an art journal filled with your expressive art and unique marks. Exclamation mark, because that's my hope, right? That's the goal. Now flip the page and jump right in. We're about to do some great stuff together. And we flip the page. And that's the first project, and a chapter where I address the reasons to our journal. Why would you do this? And why there are millions of those reasons, right? So I explain a little bit about it. And in each chapter, in most chapters, I think, I include a story, because, it's my book, and I think I can only teach about what I've experienced. I think that I feel fine teaching about. And I want to show you that I have been there. I've done all of these, I've stumbled upon all of these obstacles, and I kind of managed to push through. Or I've learned from others how to do it, and I share it here. It's a very personal book, and writing it wasn't a problem to me. I really, really enjoyed writing. I didn't struggle at any stage. The only stage I struggled while we're here, okay, is taking pictures. And I really love taking pictures. But there are so many photographs, because it's a quarto book. There are so many photographs that we needed to include, and I took each and every one of them. And I really wanted them to be consistent, because, that's just me. So that was a challenge, and that was at some stages it was hard work for me, probably, but I did it. But writing, oh, that was easy. So I answered the question why you should journal, and I also ask our Wanderlust students. There were a few students who shared with us, and I love their answers. And there is Mary Beth Stevens who says, I signed up for Wanderlust just before we decided to change our lives and to move 1,000 miles. Had I known the move was coming up, I'd have never signed up for the course, but it ended up being the best thing I could have done for myself. The weekly art journaling practice was a touchstone for me and was very grounding. Moving is stressful and traumatic. Art helped. So there can be lots of different reasons, you see. And that's why I wanted to include reasons from other people, not just myself. And there is a story of my mom as well, who is an artist, but I never knew she was an artist until I was 20 something, because she stopped painting for so long. And that's me with my mom. Yes. Very nice picture. And I tell that story, why she stopped and how I don't. want any of you to have to stop like that, right? And then we do a project. Obviously, there is a project, and there is a teacher from Wanderlust, Francisca Nunez, who I sent this tutorial to, all the steps, explanation, and I told her, just do it your own way, Francisca, just do your magic. Don't get, caught up in my style, do your thing. And she did it. And we have an example, and we have a few words from her. She says, I've been art journaling since 2014. It has been life-changing. I found out how to express my passions, my love for nature and creativity I have inside. It has been a path of self-discovery, affirmation, realizing my self-confidence and finding my intuitive voice, and also a way to explore color, texture, mediums and nature. Well, Francisca has intense reasons. But once again, there's an example from another teacher, just so you can see there's different ways, styles, and you are absolutely allowed to do it completely your way. Next chapter is about finding the time and dealing with distractions, because that's a big one. None of us has any spare time, right? I've written a bit here about how we as women, sorry if there are men listening, I was talking about women because it's mostly women usually on Wanderlust, how we feel that we have to be everything, we get caught up in this whirlwind of responsibilities and opportunities, pressure to be perfect mothers, wives, partners, friends, take care of our home, make it beautiful, have a serious career, be successful financially, continue developing, travel, be physically fit. So many pressures on us put by the society that it's difficult to find time for making art, which seems like that's a little, that's nothing really. So I explain why it's difficult, why it's important, how to find that time, how to make that space in your life. And there is a prompt, right? Like this one is, what does it mean to you to be kind to yourself? Make a list in your head or on a piece of paper of ways in which you could do it. And then there is a project, and there is Francisca Nunez talking again. And then the next chapter is about taking up your space and setting up your creative space, whether it's just a quarter of a desk in your office or a big lofty room. All of them can work, and I mentioned 4 qualities that I believe are really important. I've had lots of different studios people, and not all of them worked, and I talk about it here. So I worked out what works, and I put it in here, and hopefully it will help you in some way. And then there is a project a little different this time, and I also created a little gallery of our Wanderlust teachers' workspaces to show you once again, no right or wrong. Some love it very neat and, kind of perfect. Others don't mind having lots of different projects on the go. That is Carolyn Doobie, obviously. So yeah, just to inspire you. Then we talk about self-care, plus our journaling, the ultimate BFFs. Why is self-care so important? How our journaling can help us, take care of our mental well-being and make us feel better about who we are, how we are, make us happier, basically. And I tell the story about how I moved to UK and how, I kind of felt lost and how I used our journaling to help me. Then we paint a self-portrait, because that's okay here, right? Self-care, self-portrait. So you see each step is described, and I've made sure there's no questions here that are left unanswered. I really did put a lot into, put into as fewer words as possible, but still giving you all the information you need, because I'm a teacher. I've been teaching since 2009, I think. So I've taught lots and lots of people. I've heard many questions. I know the stages at which you may struggle, or the questions that you may need to ask. So that's why, I'm a teacher. That was really important. That's why there are tips. Then we talk about the mindful approach, how our journaling can help you start being happy right now. Because I believe, we look for happiness in future. We have to have something to look forward to. I move to the new house, then I'll be happy. I move to the new country, I have this new car. Once my kids grow up, then I'll be happy because I'll have some spare time. I believe happiness can, you can find it here and now. And it's all about mindfulness, really. It's a very bang and trend word, I know, but also, it makes me it improves the quality of my life hugely, massively. So that's what I talk about in here, and how to practice mindfulness in your art journaling, and how to practice mindfulness beyond art journaling. And we're expressing feelings with this next project. Oh, hello, Sarah. I just looked at the chat, and that's your art desk. Yes, Sarah's one of our Wanderlust teachers. Yes, let's find this art desk. Yes, where's Sarah? Where are you? There you are. Yes, that's it. Yes, this is that's Sarah Gardner. Okay, going back to this, expressing your feelings. We're doing that on this project, and it's a fun one. One of my favorite ones, because there's a lot of colors going on, and it's very expressive. So I like that. And there is also Amy Miracle, who approaches this subject completely differently. Look how precise her work is, how long it took her to cut this out. And this is in our journal too, right? So no right or wrong. If I mention no right or wrong one more time, you can, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, the next chapter is, it turns out I'm a perfectionist. Are you? It's about perfectionism. Now Sarah's here. I had a chat. We have a chat on our YouTube channel with Sarah about perfectionism, because Sarah's very knowledgeable, and I for a very long time thought I'm not a perfectionist, but then something happened which I explain here, and it had to do with everything art, when I realized that, oh, actually, in some areas of my life I could do with a little bit of a relaxation. So how I jumped over that, and how that sometimes stops us from just doing things, right? Because it's great wanting to be our best possible self and develop, but there's perfectionism that can stop us from doing things, and that's not what we want. So that's why I have an image transfer based project here, because that's never perfect, right? The result is never perfect, but we learn here to accept it and love it. And there's a project from Sarah Gardner. You joined at the right time, Sarah, honestly. The chat, it's all about you now. So that's a really beautiful take on this tutorial, completely different, you see. I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I want to say. Now, are you inspired? How to find inspiration that's right for you? And a bit from Sarah Gardner again. Because inspiration, it does exist. I think Picasso said it, but it has to find you working. And there are different kinds of inspiration. It's very easy to get caught up in social media. Get influenced by what inspires other people. So here I'm talking about how important it is to have a variety of inspiration, not just scrolling through Pinterest, right? And how to actually translate that into your art, your inspiration. And we do a project, we get inspired by a female artist. So it's an opportunity to rediscover or discover a female artist, because female artists in art history were often overlooked, majorly overlooked. So I think especially now, I feel it's an exciting time for us to honor these female artists from the past that deserve it so much. And that's why I have done a Schuster, I can never pronounce that name, sorry, that I took her style and tried and made it my own, and I explain how you could do that with a different artist or the same artist, so you can get inspired and honor them as well. How to stop comparing yourself, oh, that's a big one. And how to start making art that's truly yours. Once again, this is about the influence of from other people, because we compare ourselves constantly, right? We go on social media and we think, well, I can't do that, mine isn't as good, or I'm not doing enough. I've been there so many times and I've learned so much from it. I'm living away from social media now, you know, in a little hole in the woodland. Not true, but I don't use social media as heavily as I used to. So I tell you about what I've learned, my lessons, and we do a project. It's about flower garden, because in the garden there are all sorts of different flowers, right? At all sorts of different stages of development, and they're all beautiful, and they together make the garden beautiful and the place where you want to be. Next chapter, that's a good one. Every day is a party day, rediscovering joy through our journaling. And this is all about having fun. And like I mentioned at the beginning, the dedication, kids are my source of inspiration when it comes to joy, that exploration, that, you know, shedding that fear of the end result, because they just have fun. My daughters literally don't care how all of this ends up, right? So I've included some pictures of when I play with them, like in the garden on the grass, and they're just so fearless. And I explain how you could do it with your kids, or at least do it yourself, or how you could borrow someone else's kids with their consent. Obviously, I just want to stress that. I don't know if I mentioned the consent in the book. And yeah, this is all about having fun and playing. And Carolyn Dubie is the artist we feature in here, because she's all about playing and the little mistakes that we turn into some great things. The next one is how to express feelings through our journaling and feel totally cool about it. Because I believe, you know, whatever your level of experience, every page in an art journal has to be about something. It has to have a meaning. Even if you're just playing with supplies, keep a question in mind, or think how you're feeling, how your day's been. Because if there is meaning, then it has the potential of, you know, telling a story. And I think that's what makes art, a story, the meaning behind it. And there is a story from Christine Karpiak, my friend. I love this girl. She's so much fun, but she's also really wise, and she's got a wonderful story. I'm going to read that. I always saw art journals as a place to have fun, slapping down layers of paint and paper for enjoyment. A higher purpose presented itself when I unexpectedly lost my sister. I had lost my mom tragically 6 years before, and the rug was completely pulled out from under me once more, sending me reeling into a state of trauma, depression, and numbness. I found solace in art journaling as I fumbled through ensuing, sorry, I don't know this word, weeks and months. I scribbled and painted through the tears, and layer after layer, I gradually began to feel a fog lift. Art journaling became my best source of counseling, my anchor, my savior. Today, it's still one of the best forms of self-expression. I know, and I find this very, very inspiring. And you can see when you look at Christine Karpiak's artwork, you see that she is a very advanced artist, you know, in mixed media. She's really good at what she does. And to know that this result now, the style of hers, you know, the skill that she possesses now, comes from that very difficult beginning, and from all that work she put into it is really, I find it very inspirational. And then we express, in this project, we express our emotions. So I tell you how I've done it step by step. This is a spread we do, you know, throughout the day. It's not a sit down and finish project. It's just something that we do at different stages of the day to process how we feel about different things. Okay, and then the next, that's it. Yeah, hold on. Here I explain how you could express feelings and emotions, and here is the project, is the actual, that's the actual steps. Sorry. The wild beast is unleashed now. jump beyond art journaling. And this is where I explain you how you could use what you've learned and what you've experienced in your art journal into a different form of art. So like a canvas or a larger sheet of paper, a canvas board, or anything else. But specifically, we are creating a style sheet based on our field art journal, and then we take these marks and colors and the different elements of that style that we already created, whether we want it or not, and translate it into a larger piece of art that can still tell a story, still be very, very personal. And I've asked Amy Marico, what do you do with your art journals once they're done? Because that's a question I get a lot. And she says, I keep my journals on shelves in the studio where I can reference them easily. I use them for samples and teaching, but I look through them sometimes to inspire the next step in my art process. And that's a great advantage of having a full art journal. You can look through it and get inspired over and over again. It's like a perpetuum mobile. Is that the right word? Yeah, it just keeps on giving. And some pages, you know, that you do, you won't like them maybe necessarily that much. Some will hold a huge value for you emotionally and process wise, and it's all part of a story and all part of the process. So once you've closed your art journal, right, and you put it on a shelf, and then after a few months or years you open it up again, you look at these pages completely differently. Nothing is pretty or ugly. There's just so much meaning and so much in there that suddenly it becomes like the best diary possible. There's a little bit of an ending where I tell another story of one of my worst and saddest goodbyes, which turned to be a blessing or a big lesson. So I hope you'll read that and it will inspire you as well. And then at the end, I've included creative sparks. On our website, which is everything-art.com, we have a creative sparks library, which is like free for everyone. You just need to access it, join, and it's all there for you. And we have lots of resources, printables, mini lessons, blah blah blah, all of that. So I thought, well, there should be creative sparks in this book as well to help you continue, right? So you don't stop. And that's why I've created these little collections of different ideas and prompts. For instance, additional prompt list, female artists to explore and fall in love with, my favorite seasonal oil blends for creativity, herbal tea blend, ways to find more joy and peace in daily life. Like I know how to do that. Now I worked out some ways, so I've included them. Reading list, emotional mixtapes, meditative playlists, adding power playlists, slower vibes playlist, because I love music. Quotes, color palettes that always work. How to make your own rusty marks, how to glue big pieces of paper for a collage without bubbles and warping, what are the best glues, tutorial for that as well. And then once the creative sparks end, which I really enjoyed creating this, to be honest, and I wanted more, but once again there is a limit. I would always want to say more, include more, but yeah, unfortunately. There is a section about the contributors where I have all the lovely smiling faces. Where's Sarah? There she is. There's Christine, the one that I've read the story of. And all the rest of these awesome people that were at some stage Wanderlust teachers, because we've been doing it since 2015. So there's quite a few of them. Every year we have around 30. But many of them come back and we get them back, and when we keep on working with them over the years, like Carolyn Doobie, I don't think she missed anyone. But yes, it's a big privilege to be able to create the book, and especially with these awesome people. So if any of you are watching, thank you so much. You made it so much more fun. So that's the section, right? The thank you section, which is, I think, relevant to some people who were involved, but there is a little bit about you watching as well, reading the book. That's about me, so that's, a pretty picture to lift your spirits about looking at my face and an index. That's a really important part, which I have honestly no clue how these people at Quarter create that. That's amazing. I love that. I wish someone could create an index for my whole life so I could easily find the best that I made, at least my phone and the pictures on my phone. Okay, people, I will just very gently take that phone off. You can see me probably now. Hopefully not too upsetting the images. Okay, upside down. Sorry. I always do that, don't I? Sorry. If you feel sick, close your eyes. Okay, we're back. Hold on, do my hair. Okay. Thank you very much for watching this. I hope you found something in there that will make you feel inspired, and that you will get yourself a copy. Obviously, the book is available. I'm just gonna paste the link in. That's an Amazon link that should work for every country, but if it doesn't, just put Creative Wanderlust Kasia Avery in your Google search and you'll get a list of all sorts of different booksellers that are, you know, your local people. Bookshop ORG is the one I personally recommend because they support little bookshops, and these are needed and they are good, and we basically have one, so I would really like you to use that, or any other way you can get your hands on the book. That would be lovely. It's currently on pre-sale. You can pre-order it. It will be released on the 8th of August in the US, and 10th of August rest of the world, and on the 12th of August, which is Saturday, from 11 to 1, I will be signing like crazy in our shop, and hopefully you can pop in and say hello and can have a chat, and I can get to meet you in person. And if you can't, then watch on our YouTube on that day or the day after, depending how intense the book signing is gonna be. We will do a little live stream or a video, so hopefully you can just join in as well. Rachel says, it's fabulous, Kasia, just can't wait to get my hands on my copy now. Hope Amazon UK get it to me as soon as it's published. Rachel, I hope you'll pop into the shop. Will you? Brilliant. Thank you. I'm just quickly looking if there are any questions. Margaret, thank you. You just said you just ordered it. Thank you so much. Thank you. It really means a lot. It was a lot of work, and every time I was sitting down to do some work, you know, and sometimes I would get up at, like, you know, before 6 because we have 2 small children, so I had to fit a lot of my work in the morning. And, you know, obviously I work full-time as well on Wanderlust and everything else, so that was an additional thing. So I had to get up like before 6, go to our studio where I had a little bit of peace, and use my 2 or 3 hours before everyone is ready for me. As best as I could. And every time I was sitting down, I was thinking, you're doing this for these people who maybe will use it, and for whom it maybe will be, you know, a tool to discover something about themselves. So I'm really hoping this will be the case. Kathy says, ordering. Nice, thank you. Brilliant. Lovely. If there's some snoring you hear, that's my dog. She snores like crazy. I love that sound though. Very relaxing. Yeah, okay. I don't see any questions. So that means I've answered all of them. I've exhausted the classroom. Okay, so this is me. That was me talking, Kasia, who written this book, as shocking as it sounds. Thank you very much for watching this. Thank you very much for supporting me and Everything Art through everything you do online and in person, because I got to meet a few of you. So thank you. I hope you'll enjoy the book. I hope you'll love it as much as I loved creating it. I hope it will be your tool. Remember, it's a tool. Okay, use it. Thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna have to come around to switch it off. I'm going to have to work it out.